Eron Beathorn Stadium is bouncing right now as the home team takes the field. Puerto Rico getting ready to take on the Netherlands. And this is Rod Delmonico's lineup. Eugene Kingsale in right field. Charlon Scope is the second baseman. Randall Simon at first. Greg Hallman, the cleanup hitter. Yorendo de Castro had some great defense on Saturday. Charnal Adriana is the designated hitter. Brian Engelhardt out in left. Kenley Janssen is a terrific catcher, and Hanley Stacia is at shortstop.
A lineup made up of primarily minor league prospects. Kingsale with some big league experience, but they want Randall Simon to provide the big blow.
All right, no minor league prospects on defense, just big names out there for Puerto Rico, including a big one behind the plate.
Yadier Molina won his first Gold Glove last year. Very few managers have a catching rotation, but Jose Oquendo has one. Started Pudge in game one. He could start last year's Rookie of the Year, Giovanni Soto, but Molina gets to start tonight.
Pitcher number 2 in the rotation for Puerto Rico is a Pittsburgh Pirate and a hard thrower, Ian Snell.
Little package of dynamite, just 5'11". That's what he's done in 101 starts with the Pittsburgh Pirates, playing for a team that doesn't score him a lot of runs. Got a live fastball and a sharp slider. Jose Oquendo said be very happy if he can get 4 innings out of him tonight. You see the walk total's a bit high. He's apt to throw quite a few pitches in those 4 innings. He's limited to 70.
Snell in his 4th full season with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and there is Jose Oquendo, his 2nd go-round in the World Baseball Classic. He managed in 2006, and he told us before this started the biggest lesson he learned is that even if you have a lineup of all-stars, you have to manage them. You have to make superstars bunt. You have to play as a team. And I think we saw that with the Dominican Republic on Saturday. They didn't.
They didn't. They didn't appear that they were ready to play. It came out a little bit flat, much better yesterday in Puerto Rico, just the opposite. Very businesslike, and they did exactly what Oquendo expected they'd do.
Here's a guy in Oquendo who played for some great managers, Whitey Herzog, Davey Johnson, Joe Torre, and of course now he is a coach under Tony La Russa. He said he's taken a little bit from each of those managers.
Well, and all of those managers you mentioned would love to be able to have this kind of team that Oquendo has to manage. As you pointed out in the national anthem, we saw the names on the back. It's just a team of all-stars.
But that was the case on Saturday, and Eugene Kingsale led it off on Saturday with an infield hit, and before you knew it, the Netherlands had 3 runs against the Dominican Republic. Kingsale, who has been to the big leagues, 32 years old. He is out of Aruba.
You see the third baseman, Vasquez, very shallow. They had great respect for the speed of Kingsale, this artificial surface. That's what the Netherlands will try to do. They'll drop down some bunts, steal some bases. They have to try to manufacture runs by putting 2-3 hits together.
And so Ian Snell gets our night started. And he misses outside. Kingsale in the big leagues with Baltimore, Seattle, San Diego, and Detroit. Last there in 2003. And he pops that 1-0 pitch up. Mike Aviles. 1 out.
Well, the pop-up significant. Contrast in the 2 pitchers tonight. If you're Ian Snell, you'd love to see the ball in the air. Pop it up, keep it off the ground. Rick Vandenhert, when he takes the mound for the Netherlands, he wants to keep it on the ground. He wants to pitch low. That's the contrast in the approach of the 2 pitchers.
And as Rod Delmonico told us, he wants the ball on the ground. There's Rick Vandenhert getting ready back there to make the start. Born in the Netherlands. Here is Charlon Scope, a young prospect of the San Francisco Giants, who is a shortstop in the Giants organization, but has played second base for this team and has played it well. At the knees, and Snell's out in front, 0-2.
Rod Delmonico, very successful college coach in Tennessee, just took over this program in December. He's trying to learn, still trying to learn how to pronounce the Dutch names.
He said, don't come to me for pronunciations. 18 years at Tennessee. And Scope goes down. Ian Snell gets 2 quick outs here in the first.
Well, that'll be the challenge for this Netherlands lineup of inexperienced hitters, because they're going to see a sharp slider that they haven't probably seen a lot of. And there you got to look at it. Snell with an explosive fastball gets ahead, expand the strike zone, and get him to chase that slider out of the strike zone.
Now here is one of the names that Major League Baseball fans will recognize from the Netherlands. Randall Simon, now 33. He played in Mexico last year. And a big left-handed bat, takes a fastball for a strike. His last year in the big leagues was 2006. He had 21 at bats for the Philadelphia Phillies. And Snell bounces one up there.
Randall's quiet in that batter's box, but other than that, he's the one that does a lot of chirping down in the dugout and keeps this Netherlands team very loose.
Spent parts of 10 seasons in the big leagues. And he takes down low. Certainly there are players from the Netherlands, and in specific from the Dutch Antilles Islands, that have major league experience. But for this group of players, Simon is the guy. Andrew Jones, of course, the great center fielder who is trying to make the Texas Rangers right now. Jair Jurgens, who is not here, is a starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. And Chiron Martis, who threw the no-hitter in 2006. He's with the Washington Nationals. He is not here. Snell's 2-2. Simon was on that slider.
And the natural question out there, Rich, is why aren't they here? And of course, with this classic, as you see Simon just stay alive, this classic being played in March, it's spring training. Some organizations feel that their pitchers either aren't ready or they don't want to risk them going to the classic. And so oftentimes it's not the player's choice. Oftentimes it's the organization's choice.
Here's another 2-2. Went after the breaking ball, and Ian Snell goes 1-2-3 through the Netherlands in the first. Puerto Rico coming up in San Juan. Puerto Rico coming up, and they will do it with a guy who is thinking about a comeback. Bernie Williams leads it off in left field. Ramon Vasquez at third base. Carlos Beltran out in center. Carlos Delgado in the cleanup spot. The all-star from Toronto, Alex Rios. Pudge looking for a job as well. Micah Vilas out of Kansas City. Yadier Molina, the Gold Glover, and Alex Cora is at second base.
A near perfect night for Delgado and Pudge on Saturday. 7 for 8, 3 home runs. They knocked in 5 and scored 5.
Rick Vandenherk at 23 misses outside with his first pitch to Bernie Williams. One of the storylines in Pool D, veteran players either looking for a comeback or looking for a job. And Williams is thinking about getting back in to the big leagues. This is a very good defensive team for the Netherlands.
Well, you've heard of Yadier Molina, Gold Glover, but if you get a chance to see this kid throw, Kenley Jansen, who made 2 great plays to help Team Netherlands win their first game.
Vandenherk. That's a fastball for a strike.
Rick Vandenherk, 21 starts in his big league career. Tommy John surgery, which is a popular name these days. High earned run average. Really hasn't had a lot of starts to get that down. Fastball, curve, change, and occasional slider.
And he just misses. The Tommy John surgery was back in 2005.
And the Tommy John surgery, of course, is what Tommy John had back in the early 70s, replacing that medial collateral ligament in the elbow that is so fragile for pitchers. Most of them take about a year to bounce back.
2-2 pitch is popped foul and out of play. Well, Vandenherk did bounce back in 2007. He was in the Futures game and he was in the big leagues. The Florida Marlins called him up because they had a series of injuries to their starting rotation, and Vandenherk was the first player from the Netherlands to be on an opening day roster since 1993, when Bert Blyleven was last on an opening day roster. And of course, Blyleven is his pitching coach. Another pop-up. Engelhardt over and can't get there. And the count stays 2-2.
Already a deep count for Vandenherk, and you pointed it out, and Bert Blyleven said the same thing. We want him. There's Bert, 287 big league wins. His first one coming that I got a chance to see back in Washington, D.C. in 1970. One of the greatest curveballs in his era. Over 3,000 strikeouts, 242 complete games. As you said, he's Vandenherk's hero, and he's had a good influence on him.
And Vandenherk has a pretty good curveball as well. But he runs that outside. The count's full now at 3-2.
First Dutch-born player, as Rich pointed out.
Now, his dad played baseball in the Netherlands, and his dad got him a signed photo of Bert Blyleven, and Vandenherk put it on his bedroom wall. Chopper towards short. And an out for Vandenherk. Hanley Stasia making the play at short.
A deep count, but that ground ball is an example of one of the things Bert has been working with Vandenherk on. When you get ground balls, you usually throw what's called a two-seam fastball. If you had a baseball in your hand, if you held it across the wide seam, that's a four-seamer. You won't get a lot of movement on it. If you hold it across the narrow seams, as Vandenherk did that, you'll get a little tailing action down away from the left-hand hitter and get more ground balls. That's what they're hoping you'll get.
Ramon Vasquez of the Pittsburgh Pirates stands in, the third baseman for Puerto Rico. He was 0 for 4 in the first game. Vandenherk needs to command the lower part of the strike zone, one of the things that Bert Blyleven has told us. And his pitching coach in Florida, Mark Wiley, it's one of the things Wiley has preached to him, and he saws off Vasquez. Scope makes the play. So a good start for the 23-year-old right-hander. How do you go from playing in the Netherlands to getting to the big leagues? Well, Vandenherk was actually a catcher in the Netherlands. A Florida Marlins scout saw him, liked his arm. They signed him and made him a pitcher. And he's facing Carlos Beltran. Beltran, the tremendous center fielder for the Mets, entering his 5th year with New York. Will turn 32 in April. Check swing and no swing. Third base umpire Stefan DuPont.
You mentioned former catcher Vandenherk. His catcher might be a pitcher. We talked about Kenley Janssen's strong arm. There have been a lot of position players. I remember Jerry Kindle coaching the University of Arizona said Trevor Hoffman, who was a shortstop, is going to pitch in the big leagues. Jansen has a great arm, hasn't hit well. He can throw 96 off the mound.
That's outside corner, and that's strike 2. Troy Percival made that transition pretty easily from behind the plate to on the mound. Three-2 pitch. Beltran to left field. Engelhardt there. Rick Vandenherk goes 1-2-3 through Puerto Rico, and we're underway in San Juan and scoreless. Scoreless ball game here in the second. The World Baseball Classic has umpires from all over the globe. Larry Vanover, a major league umpire behind the plate. You've got Corey Davis and Stefan DuPont from Canada. They're on the corners, and Laz at second base. Greg Hallman stands in, a 21-year-old center fielder for the Netherlands. And he'll get a look at Ian Snell, who misses with a slider. Hallman, a rising star in the Seattle Mariners organization. In fact, he was their minor league player of the year last year. He split time between single A and double A.
And again, it's an example. He had a tough day in game 1 with 4 strikeouts, but coming up from low class A, all of a sudden he's looking at a big league pitcher. He's seeing stuff that he hasn't seen before.
Hallman lines that one in the gap, left center. Bernie Williams on it. It skips by him, and it gets in the gap. And Hallman pulls in with a leadoff double. One of the questions about Bernie Williams is how much ground can he cover now at age 40?
Well, this is an example of a player who's been a great center fielder his entire career. And that ball takes a little different route. You notice at the last minute it kind of drifted away from him. He's accustomed to seeing the ball come straight at him and not playing much left field. His inexperience there showed off. Hallman with enough speed to get into second base.
Yurendo de Castro, the third baseman. That's the first hit out of the infield that the Netherlands has had in this classic. All 3 of their hits in the big upset over the Dominican Republic were on the infield. De Castro with Hallman at second. De Castro's 29. He's out of Curacao. And he's trying to put the ball in play on the right side, but he's behind in the count now, 0-2. Rod Delmonico told both of us if he gets an opportunity, he'll try to scratch out a run any way possible. There's a shot down the line. That's a fair ball. Here comes Hallman. He's going to score. And the Netherlands scores first against Puerto Rico.
Well, third time's charm. De Castro tried 2 swings, fouled them off. 2 strikes, waited, slapped it the other way, got rewarded with a base hit and an RBI. Playing the game the right way, trying to advance the runner, hit it the opposite field, and ends up getting a base hit.
Here now is Charnal Adriana, the designated hitter for the Netherlands. With De Castro at first. And Snell misses outside. Adriana in the Mexican League, and he's one of the veterans on this team at 38.
Taking a long look at his coach to see if he might get a hit and run sign. You don't expect that from a DH, but that's the style of baseball the Netherlands plays. And normally your DH is a guy that you say, well, let's sit back and see if he can hit a 2-run homer. But about the only guy in that Netherlands lineup capable of doing that is Randall Simon. They try to do it in a different way with stolen bases and base hits.
Jose Oquendo, every catcher he runs out there is a guy that'll throw you out. I mean, if you're going to pick from 13 Gold Gloves with Pudge, who started in game 1, or you can have last year's National League All-Star starter and Rookie of the Year Giovanni Soto, who's not playing, or you can have the guy that won the Gold Glove last year in the National League, Yadier Molina, and he's behind the plate. Little looper, and it's foul.
That's why you're apt to see more hit and run than trying to steal, because Molina has one of the highest percentages of throwing out potential base stealers of anyone. There's Soto, who was the designated hitter in Puerto Rico's first game.
A run across, a double by Greg Hallman, and Yurendo de Castro has driven him home. And Snell bounces that slider up. Now, Jim, Ian Snell is a guy that has that sharp slider. At this point in a spring training progression, For a guy like Snell, when does the slider become locked in?
Well, for some pitchers, it's not even until early in the season, particularly if you're going to pitch in cold weather to start the season. The breaking pitches are the last ones to come around. You depend on a little more touch and feel for those than the fastball.
And Snell will chase him back. He certainly will be pitching in cold weather once April hits for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It will be his 4th year there. He's been durable and dependable. He's made over 30 starts his last 3 years. Chopper up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. And the Netherlands has put together 3 hits. They're set up with runners first and second and nobody out.
Well, just a well-placed ground ball. 2 strikes, goes down, makes contact. Nothing the Puerto Rican infielders can do about it. It was just perfectly placed. Bounces out of the way of Aviles and Cora.
And now we'll see if Rod Delmonico is going to play some small ball with Brian Engelhardt, his left fielder. Engelhardt plays in the Dutch Pro League. He, like many of these players from the Netherlands, out of Curacao. Smash up the middle. Aviles got 1 and 2.
Well, you get enough ground balls, sometimes they'll hit one at someone in the infield and you end up with a double play, and you're saying, well, the Netherlands play small ball. Why didn't they do it there? I think Rod Delmonico figured Engelhardt has a little more pop in his bat. If I bumped him over, the man stepping in right now, known more for his catching ability, is not a real productive hitter. So that again factors into what a manager will do when he decides whether to bunt or not.
There's DeCaster at third, and here is the young catcher, Kenley Jansen, who slices one foul. Jansen is in the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. He is a switch hitter. He has more pop from this side of the plate. Late on the 0-1, and it's 0-2. Snell will touch mid-90s with his fastball.
Pretty much overmatched on that fastball up above the belt.
Fights it off, and it stays at 0-2. This crowd here, which is a raucous crowd, when this place gets going, it nearly falls apart. They're a little bit stunned right now, much like the Dominican crowd was on Saturday. This might be the only stadium in the World Baseball Classic where the official drink is the pina colada. They serve a lot of them.
No surprise.
Got him on a breaking ball. But the Netherlands scores first. Greg Hallman opens with a double, and he would score. It's 1-0. The Netherlands on top, 1-0. Iram Beathorn Stadium was built back in 1962. 375 in the gaps, 404 to straightaway center. Lots of baseball played here. And a couple of title fights as well. Roberto Duran and Muhammad Ali also fought in this stadium. Carlos Delgado stands in. And he drives it down the left field line. foul.
You showed the dimensions, Rich. Pretty convenient to reach the fences dimension-wise, but the balls to left field have not been carrying, and that's the reason why. If you get it in the air from right center to the right field foul line, it'll carry.
Vandenhurst misses low to Delgado. Delgado, one of the Puerto Rican hitters who had a big day against Panama. Entering his 4th year with the Mets.
Carlos Delgado, even when he came up, had a very short, compact swing. You see a lot of hitters today with long swings. One hand comes off the bat. They're very susceptible to the high fastball. You get anything down and into him.
With the shift on, Janssen has to go all the way out, and he drops the ball. The shift for Delgado had Yurendel de Castro, the third baseman, out near shortstop.
I think you could see him smack his glove and the ball dropped. I think de Castro still felt it was an easier ball for him to catch. This had a lot of hang time. Good pitch by Vandenhurst. And you'll see the third baseman come into your picture. Now he gives way. See, with the ball carrying out that way, it was a much easier play for the third baseman. Very difficult for the catcher, particularly with the wind blowing and it drifting away from him.
2-2 pitch didn't miss by much.
And that's one thing the Netherlands really cannot afford to do. You give a hitter like Delgado an extra chance. See now as he runs, the ball begins to drift over his right shoulder away from him.
Smoked by Simon into the corner. Delgado on his way to second with a double. A costly mistake by the Netherlands defense.
A little more pressure on the pitcher after that good pitch, up and in. That one inside, but down where, again, that compact swing that Delgado can just drop the barrel on it. Nice effort by Randall Simon, but this turf, that ball skipped past you in a hurry. And again, the eyes and the concentration of a veteran hitter.
Alex Rios now of the Toronto Blue Jays. Rios starting his career as Delgado did up in Toronto. And it's been a good start for Rios in his career. A 2-time All-Star, outstanding defensive outfielder. Last year hit .291 with 15 home runs. At the knees. That's the spot that Vandenhurst has to establish with his fastball. Kenley Janssen, the catcher, is summoned out by Vandenhurst. Parts of 2 seasons in the big leagues for Vandenhurst. And he's got a tough lineup to face here in the second.
Sometimes conversations like that, suddenly, if you're Vandenhurst, you say, now what sign are we using? Because when there's a runner on second, you change the sign sequence so they can't steal your sign. 1's fastball, 2's a curve, 3's a slider, wiggle for a change. That's pretty basic. Just want to know which of those they're using.
0-2 pitch. Vandenhurst strikes him out. So there's one out. Here comes Pudge.
The advantage of getting ahead and expanding the strike zone with a nice late breaking ball that got Rios to chase it.
On Saturday, 4 hits, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, and 2 curtain calls. As Ivan Rodriguez tries to audition for a big league job, that was a pretty good opening act on Saturday. Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. That's where Rodriguez is from. Good fastball by Vandenhert. Count evens 1-1.
6'5" gets on top of the ball, and as you mentioned earlier, Bert Blyleven has told us, try to keep the ball down and keep it in the ballpark. That was in a good spot.
One. Pudge last year with injuries played 82 games for Detroit, 33 games for the Yankees. He's just over 2,600 career hits.
Rodriguez questioning Larry Van Over. Guy said, good pitch. Umpire said, sure it was. Otherwise, I wouldn't have called it a strike. And it was a good pitch. Caught the corner on the way by. Nice sharp breaking ball.
Fastball threw it by him. Vandenhert strikes out Ivan Rodriguez.
Boy, that's a nice sequence. Kept the ball away, made some perfect pitches, then comes back inside and up. And gets Pudge to chase it. Toughest pitch to hit and catch up with is still that good high fastball. Now you want to keep the ball down early in the count, get some ground balls, but once you get a hit or 2 strikes and he's in a protective mode, then that high fastball is very effective.
Mike Aviles now. Aviles takes a strike. Kansas City Royal, rookie season and a good one last year. 325, 10 home runs. There's the curveball, and it's 0-2. Bert Blyleven is thrilled to meet Vandenhert as Vandenhert was to meet him. When he got to the big leagues, Vandenhert got a letter in the mail, and it was from Bert Blyleven, his longtime hero, who he had not met. He finally met Blyleven about 10 days ago when the Netherlands team got together, because Blyleven is a broadcaster for the Minnesota Twins, and Vandenhert has been in and out of the National League with the Marlins the last 2 years.
Bert's career is 685 starts, 242 complete games. Not in those stats. Hall of Fame numbers.
Another good fastball.
And when we see Bert Blyleven on the bench right now, I mean, he's as intense as a coach as he was as a pitcher. He is really loving this role he has, coaching the Dutch pitchers. And Vandenhert in particular is one of his prized pupils.
Carlos Delgado opened the inning with a double. Breaking ball in the air. Hallman in. Look out. It's caught and held by Scope. Little anxiety out in the outfield here in San Juan. 1-0 Netherlands. Ian Snell and Puerto Rico down 1-0. Into the third inning we go. Bottom of the order for the Netherlands. Hanley Stasia will be followed by Eugene Kingsale and Charlon Scope. And Snell misses down low. Much sharper in the first inning for Ian Snell as opposed to the second inning. Jim, what differences did you see?
I don't see any differences in his delivery. He just came out very fluid in the first inning, throwing a lot of strikes.
(2-0).
I always thought control was as much or more mental than physical. As the great Sandy Koufax became a Hall of Fame pitcher when he said, I try to make the hitter hit the ball and not miss it. And oftentimes, you know, you want to strike everybody out or you grip the ball a little too tighter. But a lot of us play in that game. Hey, hit a ground ball here. Put it in play. Talk yourself into throwing strikes instead of doubting whether you can.
Count evens at 2-2. Stasia, one of the youngsters on this ball club. He's 23 in the Angels organization. He hit .242 at AA. Known for his defense. Leadoff man Eugene Kingsale on deck. He was on that breaking ball, and Bertie Williams wanders back and makes the catch. World Baseball Classic, today's schedule. Korea beats Japan. Both of those teams will advance to San Diego, with Korea being the 1 seed in that. Obviously, we're here in San Juan. Canada and Italy right now in the bottom of the second, with Italy on top. And how about Australia beating Mexico? And Mexico facing South Africa tonight. The Australians beat them 17-7. Chris Snelling, one of the Aussies, had 2 homers.
That's one of the teams in the Dutch Professional League where Kingsale played.
It's one thing we should explain. There is a Dutch Professional League, and there are 6 Major League Baseball academies in Holland. And they are starting to produce big league players.
Well, when you mentioned the hitters for Australia and the games all around the World Baseball Classic, it points out what a pool of talent there is all over the world.
(2-1) pitch, and Kingsale hits it out of play.
In America, we have always felt that baseball was our national pastime, and then we kind of owned the game. And of course, the influx of all the star Latino players. We're seeing a lot of them here with the Dominican and Team Puerto Rico, but even before them, Clemente and Alou. There's the global ambassador, Tommy Lasorda.
I can't believe he called out the Italians. Did you hear his rant? That the USA was going to win, and it's not the Italians' game. It's not the Cubans' game. It's the American pastime.
Well, what you hope to see, and that's the reason we're watching the World Baseball Classic, it has become the world's pastime. There again, get ahead, expand the strike zone, and get hitters to chase that sharp slider, as Kingsale did there.
Of course, Lasorda, the longtime Dodger manager, that is an organization that probably more so than any provided a platform for more foreign players to come in and start the flow of international talent into the big leagues. Charlon Scope pops it in the air. Alex Cora makes the catch, and Ian Snell has a 1-2-3 third. 1-0 Netherlands. You can keep up with all the latest World Baseball Classic news and stats. Just visit the official online shop of the World Baseball Classic. Rick Vandenhurk with a 1-0 lead. Netherlands facing Yadier Molina. Swings and misses. Alex Cora and Bernie Williams to follow. The youngest of the catching Molina brothers, all of whom have World Series rings. Benji and Jose with the Angels, and Yadier with the Cardinals. Slow roller to Castro. One down. Here comes Alex Cora.
Nice play by DeCaster. Off balance throw, and a nice start by Vandenhurk. Bert Blyleven has to be very happy, and of course you see him during the season with the Marlins and his pitching coach there, Mark Wiley. When you're that tall, at least 6'5", you want to try to take advantage of it, get it on top of the ball, and just establish that downward plane, use the pitching mound to your advantage. And Vandenhurk has done a nice job of that tonight. A lot of first pitch fastball strikes. Good ratio right there, 37 pitches, 2/3 of them strikes.
Pitch number 38. Alex Cora takes a strike. Alex Cora signed with the Mets. Versatile player.
Yeah, I think the two-seam fastball that we talked about is helpful to him, because that's a pitch that you throw and depend on movement. You know, you sort of head it toward the middle of the plate, let it tail away, and you don't try to power the ball by hitter. It's an easier pitch to throw in the strike zone.
Stasio. We have seen that this Netherlands team is very good defensively.
That's great play by Randall Simon. And another one by Scope. And then to get into the act, Castor with a nice double play, and the throw from Janssen that helped the Netherlands win game 1.
Simon on that right side always has been known as a pretty good glove guy, and Scope, that's his reputation in the Giants organization, is a slick fielding infielder. Here's Bernie Williams, and he takes outside. Bernie bounced out back in the first.
Quite a thrill for Bernie, the ovation he got here. There you see what he's done in 16 seasons, all with the Yankees. Batting champion, ALCS MVP, and of course he's got a nice career to fall back on, because if he doesn't come back and play baseball in about a month, he'll appear at the Nokia Theater in New York and play his guitar. He's coming out with his second CD.
It's called Moving Forward, which some might say he should do with his life. There are a lot of people questioning whether he can make a comeback after 2 years out of the game. But for him, a thrill to play for Puerto Rico one more time, and a great chance, in his words, to dip his toe in the water just to see if he still has the fire.
Well, if he's a musician, then he's heard Seeger. Dreams die hard. You watch him erode, but you can't hide the fire inside. And that's what he's got.
Can he turn on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, though? Vandenhurk snaps off a curveball. He's gone 3-2 to Williams, who had such a great career, so many postseasons. He played in 25 postseason series with the Yankees. And he walks.
And that's what Bernie does so well. He was part of those Yankee teams with Paul O'Neill and Tino Martinez that were so disciplined. The pitcher would get ahead in the count, and they could still work out a walk. Bernie has never lost that.
Ramon Vasquez now. He bounced out. He was with the Rangers last year. Vasquez this year with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Vandenhurk is up. Janssen is out to talk to Rick Vandenhurk. His father's name is Wim, and Wim was a baseball player in the Netherlands. That's how Rick started.
Oh, one of the first Dutch pitchers in the major leagues several years ago was Wim Remmerschwal. He was a right-hand reliever with the Boston Red Sox.
I was surprised that you and Blyleven didn't break into Dutch while you were talking before the ball game.
Praat a little Hollands. Which means, do you speak Dutch? A little out of sync now from the stretch position. Vandenhurk was in such a good groove, throwing strike one, strike two, now 4 in a row out of the strike zone.
And that's been one of his biggest struggles when he gets to the big leagues, is the ability to put 4, 5, 6 innings together rather than pitch well for 2 and then give up a bunch of runs all of a sudden. 3-1.
Yeah, and you start walking hitters in this lineup, and you look in the on-deck circle, you know, you're looking at a 3-run homer.
Beltran waits. Vandenhurk's 3-1. Lost him.
Burke to the mound. He sees something, and when you're 6'5", a little difficult to keep your mechanics in sync, not really getting the ball out of the glove as quickly. The arm gets a little bit lazy, and most of those pitches are up, as that one was. And see, now you've given Beltran, he's been sitting in that on-deck circle and in the bench, and you've seen Vandenhurk, again, the long stride, and the ball a little up in the strike zone. You give a hitter like Beltran sitting in the on-deck circle, standing in the dugout, you see 8 or 10 pitches in a row, and the Netherlands bullpen may get up in a hurry. It just gives you that much better look and chance to time one.
David Bergman, Diegomar Markwell are the relievers that are up.
Sometimes when a pitcher experiences wildness like this, you miss your fastball, best thing to do is call a breaking ball. That causes you to lose a little touch and feel and not try to overpower it. See what they do here.
At the knees. Larry Vanover has called that pitch a strike all night long.
And well, he should. You see when the catcher catches it low, but when it goes across home plate, it is knee high.
You could see the paint on the fingers to give Vandenhurk a better sight line, better chance to catch the signs. Some catchers will put tape around their fingers. Some will even paint their fingernails white for night games.
Can't miss those.
Hit hard into right field, base hit. Up with the ball, Kingsale. Round third, Williams. Here comes the throw. Bernie Williams is out at home plate. Great throw by Kingsale. And the inning is over, and the Netherlands is still on top. Eugene Kingsale to Kenley Jansen. Bernie Williams out at the plate. It's still 1-0. The Netherlands, heavy underdogs. And some labored breathing out there by Bernie Williams. Randall Simon takes down low.
Those 40-year-old wheels just don't work as well as they did 8 or 10 years ago.
The Newark Bears for Simon last year, independent ball. And he fouls it back. He's always been known as a free swinger.
And you see the smile. Because when Randall fouled that straight back, he said, boy, that was my pitch to hit. Hitters will tell you they usually get one good pitch to drive every at bat. And that was one right there, and he missed it.
He played 10 years in the big leagues. His biggest hit, at least the one he's known for, was in 2003 when he playfully hit one of the racing sausages in Milwaukee. He thought it was playful. The sausage got knocked down. Simon actually was suspended and fined.
Big hitch in that swing, and he's able to lay off the high fastball just inside.
The sausage did not press charges. Simon takes inside, and he's aboard. All right, let's take a look at Bernie Williams at 40 and see his wheels.
Well, there's a couple things working against Bernie. Beltran hits the ball sharply. This field turf is fast. Kingsale plays it perfectly. Fields it on the run, all the momentum going toward home, throws a strike to Janssen, and gets Bernie by plenty.
Well, here's Greg Hallman, who doubled back in the second, and that got the Netherlands started. He would score on the DeCaster single.
So looking at this game right now, Rich, with the Netherlands 1 run on the board, Jose Oquendo's gamble was to play Bernie in left field for his bat, but misjudging the fly, and then just doesn't have the speed that he had 10 years ago. It's actually worked against Team Puerto Rico. Cost him a run and prevented him from scoring a run.
This feels an awful lot like Saturday.
And Saturday, Rich is referring to how the Netherlands got off to a 3-run lead and just kept making the plays and the pitches and made it hold up.
Hallman takes, well, wait a minute. A late call by Larry Vanover. Watch Vanover.
A little slow motion for Larry on that one.
He was channeling Tim McClellan.
Tim McClellan, veteran major league umpire that's known for, he's a great umpire, but known for a very deliberate strike call.
DeCaster sends it out of play. Ian Snell has no-hit type stuff when he pitches, and he threw a no-hitter in 2005 at AAA Indianapolis. And since it was in the minor leagues, you always have to look to see if it was a 9-inning or a 7-inning no-hitter. It was a 9-inning no-hitter. In the minor leagues, double headers, oftentimes 7-inning games.
Another good slider. If Snell can get ahead, the slider's a fickle pitch. It's easy to throw. You throw it in the right spot, you'll get hitters to chase it.
Driven to center. Beltran glides back.
But if you throw a bad one, they go a long ways. And Snell's got a good one. Got by with one there, middle of the strike zone, and driven well, but Beltran with that just gliding stride makes it look easy. It's a good jump on the ball there.
So there's 2 outs. Carlos Beltran played his first game in this stadium when he was 18. He said it was the biggest thrill, not to play in this stadium, but because he got to play in the same lineup as Bernie Williams. Of course, at that time, Bernie was in center, and Beltran had to play right field. Rios, long run. Gets there. And Snell works around the leadoff walk. Headed to the bottom of the 4th in Puerto Rico. Look at this. The Netherlands on top, 1-0. Full house in Puerto Rico, but the Netherlands is on top 1-0. Rick Vandenhert goes to work in the fourth. He gets Carlos Delgado, Alex Rios, and Ivan Rodriguez.
Big inning for Vandenhert as you see the Netherlands shifts their infield way around. Carlos, a pull hitter, as you've got to work through some pretty experienced hitters right here and hold the lead. And this will probably be his last inning. Those of you not familiar with the World Baseball Classic rules, the starting pitcher is limited to 70 pitches. And that's where he's at right now.
Each dugout has a little pitch clock. Delgado thought it clipped him. He looked to home plate umpire Larry Vanover. But the count's 2-1. Let's see if it did.
Danced out of the way just in time.
On Saturday, Carlos Delgado got him started in a big way.
Check out this short, compact swing off Blue's chin.
We've seen that here in Puerto Rico. These fans are really something. Jim, for both you and I, it's our first time here. It's the first time to watch a game in Puerto Rico. It is a cultural experience. The music, the food, the fans.
It's a picnic.
It is a wild picnic. Vandenhert now at 3-2. When they blew out Panama the other night, the place stayed full till about 20 or 30 minutes after the game.
And you're seeing the different challenge that Rick Vandenhert has here versus Ian Snell. Snell facing an inexperienced lineup from a big league standpoint. Minor league players much more apt to chase borderline pitches. But in Vandenhert's case, he has got to throw strikes because you're not going to get Delgado or Pudge or Rios to chase too many bad ones. There's the bullpen. Bergman, the right-hander. And Markwell, the lefty, with the pitch count nearing 70.
Alex Rios is up, then Pudge, then Aviles. And Vandenhert is wobbling right now. He's walked 3 of the last 4 he's faced. And remember, the last out he got was when Bernie Williams was thrown out at the plate by Eugene Kingsale.
Noticeable difference in his control from the set position. And oftentimes pitchers, I mean, that's one of the things Greg Maddux did, is he spent a lot of time throwing from the stretch with a man on base. Oftentimes pitchers work out of their windup, and then when a man gets on base, they haven't thrown out of that position enough.
Drive to left center. Hallman is there. And Vandenhert gets allowed out.
Pudge Rodriguez coming up. Let's take a look at the way Vandenhert worked him the first time. That pitch low and outside for a ball. Then he throws that in a good spot, swing and a miss, just off the corner. Nice breaking ball. And then with 2 strikes, a veteran hitter, a high fastball, very effective pitch. And you see what Pudge said, make him get the ball down.
It's the first out that Pudge has made in the Classic. He was 4 for 4 in the first game. The winner of this game is on to the second round. And for these 2 teams, that would mean Miami. That's where Pudge Rodriguez makes his home, in Miami. That's where he won his 1 World Championship with the Florida Marlins in 2003. Runner goes. Swing and a miss or a foul tip. Delgado is still at second, so it was not a foul tip. A rare stolen base.
Well, as Carlos said, hey, I might as well. Most stolen bases, nice block by Janssen, and that's a good example. Stolen off the pitcher. Vandenhurst at 6'5", a pretty slow release to home plate. Delgado got a good jump and a rare stolen base for Carlos.
Pudge, that's a foul ball. Just foul.
Pudge led off the game making a good play, stole a base, and a pair of home runs. A couple of curtain calls. Couldn't have been better for Pudge in game 1 for Puerto Rico.
He was behind the plate in that game. He's the designated hitter in this game. Vandenhurst, 1-2. Little roller foul.
You can finish the hitter, even though he's 2 pitches away from the 70 limit. You can go ahead and finish the hitter.
They'd love to have him finish Pudge on this pitch. That would mean he could face another hitter. And that's fouled at the plate, and that means this will be the last hitter that Vandenhurst faces. Some people have said that the pitch count makes it easy for managers. I don't think that's true, because in this format you have to think about tomorrow and the next day, and where is the ball game when you're making these pitching changes. Two and two.
Well, and both managers know they're going to play again tomorrow. They're going to play another game. It's not an elimination game, so that dictates. As Rod Delmonico said, he'd like to stay away from Cordovans, Rob Cordovans, who did such a great job in game 1. But if it's a matter of winning the game, he might use it.
Delgado's at second with 1 out. 2-2.
Again, the discipline of a veteran hitter that they're really making Vandenhurst work. A lot of 3-2 counts. You give veteran hitters that many looks at your pitches, 10, 15 pitches and 2-3 at bats. It just increases their chances of timing one.
Breaking ball, line to the left, base hit. Engelhardt up with it. Delgado will hold, and Puerto Rico has runners at the corners, and that's it for Rick Vandenhurst. Delmonico on his way out to the mound.
Well, Pudge fouled off some good fastballs, and he got Janssen and Vandenhurst to switch to the breaking ball. And he's a good 2-strike breaking ball hitter.
The Netherlands going to their bullpen, up 1-0. Netherlands on top 1-0. In the bottom of the 4th in Puerto Rico, Rick Vandenhurst in his 72 pitches goes 3 1/3, and he's responsible for Delgado at third, Rodriguez at first, and it's David Bergman who comes in to face Mike Aviles.
No runs charged to Vandenhurst yet. 6 base runners, and this is what the Netherlands relievers did so well in game 1. They came in with men on base and pitched out of jams. They're in one right here.
Bergman is a starting pitcher in the Dutch Pro League. In fact, he won the Dutch version of the Cy Young in 2007.
That's his numbers last season.
quickly he's out in front, 0-2. That Netherlands bullpen was so good against Panama. 5 scoreless innings in relief of Sidney Ponson. Aviles hangs in there, and it's 1-2. Aviles' path to this Puerto Rican team is an interesting one. He grew up in the Bronx. His parents are from Puerto Rico. Played at a Division II college, Concordia College. And when you see a guy like Aviles at 28, who finally gets to the big leagues, a guy who signed for just $1,000 out of college, you know he's earned it every step of the way.
And he's having a good at bat right here, fouling off a lot of tough pitches. But Bergman, true to what Bert Blyleven said, we like to bring in a guy like Bergman with men on because we trust the fact that he can throw strikes.
Ian Snell hoping his team gets him some runs.
Well, now here's the battle, and here's the challenge with a pitcher and a catcher. Fastball after fastball, but he's late, and he keeps fouling them off. And then the tendency is, well, let's try a breaking ball. They did that with Pudge, and he got a base hit. Let's see what they choose to do here against Aviles. He's not catching up with the fastball.
Breaking ball, ground ball, might be 2. Got one there, got 2 there, and the Netherlands gets out of trouble. David Bergman bails out Rick Vandenherk. It's still 1-0. Puerto Rican fans try to keep the party going, but the Netherlands, who upset a star-studded Dominican Republic team on Saturday, have not trailed in this classic. They led the entire way against that. I mean, all-stars aplenty on the Dominican team, just like here with Puerto Rico. Rod Delmonico, who spent 18 years as the head coach at the University of Tennessee, and his ball club is up 1-0 in the 5th, and a new pitcher on the mound for Puerto Rico.
Pedro Feliciano, and his numbers last season with the New York Mets. A lot of action, 86 games, but only 53 innings. He was used there for an out here, 2 outs there. Ian Snell, his night is over. 4 innings, well pitched. Just gave up a run. Only 1 walk and 5 strikeouts.
And Feliciano comes in at the bottom of the order for the Netherlands. Brian Engelhardt, Kenley Jansen, and Henley Stasia. Running up to bunt is Danny Rombley.
With the left-handed Feliciano coming in, who is so effective against lefties, Delmonico goes to his bench, brings in Danny Rombley, who is also a better player in the field. Try to get another right-hand bat, but that's why Jose Aquindo brought in Feliciano here. He is one of his left-handers that he feels can get righties out as well. And that's why he's got that little sinking action down and away. His other left-handers like J.C. Romero, primarily lefty against lefty guys. But when you can throw a pitch like this and get it darting down and away or down in the strike zone, you could get lefties or righties out.
Kenley Jansen, the Netherlands catcher. Jose Oquendo has a very good bullpen. He's got Saul Rivera down there. You mentioned Romero, who was terrific for the Phillies last year, especially in the postseason. Feliciano, Fernando Cabrera. Pretty solid starting rotation as well. Javier Vasquez, we saw Snell tonight. Jonathan Sanchez of the Giants is his Game 3 starter.
Another lefty with big league experience, Javier Lopez.
Switch hitting catcher. It's one of the things that Janssen has to improve on if he wants to get to the big leagues. He's got to hit a little bit. Rod Delmonico thinks he's almost there defensively. Hit just .227 last year. And he's overmatched against Feliciano.
Again, even from the sidearm position, so much movement on the pitch. And you're talking about inexperienced hitters that have not seen Feliciano at all, not able to pick up the ball or time it.
Coming up after our game, the World Baseball Classic continues. Team Mexico and South Africa. That's coming up from Mexico City. That's an elimination game. And that's what Feliciano does to Hanley Stasia. 1, 2, 3 go the Netherlands in the 5th. Still going strong in San Juan. The Puerto Rican fans are here in number. Danny Rombley stays in the ball game, and he's in left field. Yadier Molina is at home plate, and David Bergman delivers. Ball 1 with Molina, Alex Cora, then the top of the order, Bernie Williams. Molina had a brief at bat in the 3rd. He bounced out. And he rolls this one out to shortstop. Stasia throws to first. Great defense on Saturday for the Netherlands, and they've done it again here tonight.
Well, that's how they beat the Dominican team. Nice acrobatic catch by Scope. De Castro with a nice pick and throw. Here comes Kingsale's throw to get Bernie Williams at home. And then a double play to get out of another jab. You keep waiting for someone to crack through against this inexperienced by major league standards pitching staff, but they keep coming up with the big outs.
There is Cora. Psychologically, for pitchers, I mean, guys that have experience but not big league experience, having that defense behind him's got to help.
And I'll tell you what helps as much as that. Even though they're big league hitters, you're seeing guys you haven't seen before. You know, they haven't seen these pitchers before. You get one look at them, oftentimes the relievers. And if a pitcher can throw strikes, he's got the big advantage. This is one of the rare times where Bergman is, where he'll fall behind a hitter. He's usually a strike throwing machine. But that's what why that bullpen has been effective. They throw a lot of strikes, and the veteran hitters haven't seen a lot of it.
Even in the major leagues, if Alex Cora, say last year with Boston, came up against a pitcher who he had not faced, he still will have watched video of that pitcher in the afternoon before the ball game, and he'd have a detailed scouting report as well.
The only problem is the video machine doesn't throw the ball. And you can look at it, but it's one thing to look at it and say, I know what's coming, but then you have to time it.
High pop. This time Janssen makes the play, and there's 2 outs. Yeah, it's not like you can pick up the phone and call the scouting department and get David Bergman's last 5 starts.
What I tried to do when I was coaching the pitchers in Cincinnati in 1985 is I would take them out and watch the other team take batting practice where the coach is just laying it in there. Here it is, hit it. And they pop it up, they hit it on the ground. You know, if you throw a lot of strikes, they're going to make out 7 out of 10 times, even the best hitters. And that's what the Netherlands bullpen has done a good job of, throwing strikes.
Bernie Williams gets jammed. Little pop up behind third, and a running catch by De Castro. The relief pitching and the defense continues. And so does a surprising Netherlands lead. In San Juan, the Netherlands 1-0. of between innings entertainment.
Where's Ozzie Smith?
Ozzie didn't need one of those springboards.
No, he's been known to do that.
Top of the order for the Netherlands. Eugene Kingsale takes a strike from Feliciano. If you've just joined us, the Netherlands right now is on top 1-0. Saturday, in what many have called one of the biggest upsets in international baseball history, the Netherlands beat the Dominican Republic. They did it with early runs, with relief pitching, and with defense.
They had one other win back in 2000. They defeated Cuba in the Olympics. But if they were to win this one back-to-back, beating the Dominican and Puerto Rico, I mean, that would really put Netherlands baseball on the map.
Kingsale pushes a bunt. Feliciano throws him out.
Well, the best laid plans. Bert Blyleven saying, and Rod Delmonico, we want to stay away from Quartermans. He threw 36 pitches. He pitched very well. But if you get a chance to win the game and go to Miami, you're going to take advantage of it. So they have Quartermans throwing here, ready to come in the 6th or 7th. He's one of those relievers that got out of a big-time jam in Game 1.
Charlin Scope, who was 0 for 2. Well, Quartermans was one of the heroes against the Dominican Republic. So far here tonight, Rick Vandenhert with the first 3 1/3. David Bergman has gone an inning and 2/3. Jesus Feliciano has taken over for Bernie Williams out in the left. Two and one. Scope has done an awful lot of work with the hitting coach of the Netherlands, Hensley Mullins.
Bam Bam was his nickname. Played for the Yankees.
The Dutch Antilles have produced a lot of major league talent. Curacao, one of the 5 islands. That's where Hensley Mullins is from. He was the first player from those islands to get to the big leagues. Andrew Jones, of course, the best to come out of there.
Trying to get on base with the base on balls, and Feliciano keeps throwing strikes.
In fact, you talk about big international wins. It was Curacao who won the 2004 Little League World Series. That qualifies as a huge win. And the guy at the plate, his younger brother played on that team. Charlin Scope's brother was 12 years old then. And Scope was aboard. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the World Baseball Classic Incorporated. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent. Randall Simon, lefty against lefty.
Couple ways to look at this if you're Rod Delmonico. You got your most powerful hitter in the batter's box. You'd like to use the running game and try to steal. We talked about Molina's strong arm, but you got the hole open now between first and second with Delgado holding on the runner.
Simon lashes it into right field. That's a base hit. Scope will stop at second, and the Netherlands with runners at first and second and 1 out here in the 6th.
Randall gets a fastball up in the strike zone, laces it into right field. That'll send Oquendo to the mound to make a pitching change. And again, the Netherlands with 2 on and 1 out. And a chance to tack on to their lead.
Jose Oquendo bringing in the right-hander. Exit Feliciano. The Netherlands on top, 1-0. Giancarlo Alvarado out of the Puerto Rico bullpen. He started last year in AAA with the Angels, and he finished with the 7-11 Lions of the Taiwan League.
Very convenient. 23 starts. Gives you an idea how global this game has become. Pitched in the Mexican League prior to that.
Greg Hallman, who doubled in the second and struck out in the fourth. Runners first and second. The Netherlands trying to add to their lead. Hallman hits a sharp ground ball to short. Aviles, Cora, a double play. One pitch, 2 outs from Alvarado. And on to the bottom of the 6th we go in San Juan, where the Netherlands continues to lead Puerto Rico. The Netherlands is on top of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, a team that has 27 Major League Baseball All-Star Game appearances in their starting 9. The Netherlands, who came into this pool probably slotted 4th behind the powerful teams of the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the host team, and Panama. Breaking ball for a strike. David Bergman facing Ramon Vasquez, Carlos Beltran, and Carlos Delgado. The Netherlands shocked the world by beating the Dominican Republic on Saturday. Michael Dersma is now at second base. Charlin Scope moves over to short, and Dersma gets the first ground ball of the inning, and he whips it over to first. Vasquez is out, and there's 1 out. So with that win on Saturday, it meant the entire Pool D bracket was different than anybody could have imagined. The Netherlands and Puerto Rico here. Panama eliminated. The Dominican Republic is 1-1. They await the loser of this game tomorrow night. The winner of this game advances to Miami and the second round. Here is Beltran. Has flied out and has singled. Dueling rosin bags. Beltran hits it out, but foul. David Bergman came in for Rick Vandenhert. And Bergman so far has given his skipper, Rod Delmonico, 2 shutout innings. Beltran drills it, and a dive, almost a catch, out of the glove of Rombley. Beltran gets caught away from first and has to slide back in. Wow.
What a great play by Rombley. First of all, the effort, and just misses it, but he's able to knock it down. And then right here's the good play. Presence of mind, get up, throw it into the infield in a hurry, and hold Beltran to a single. That keeps the double play in order.
Here's Beltran out of the box.
Hits it sharply. He's thinking double right here. Quickly picks up Rombley, and then he said, "Oop," he got it back in a hurry.
It looked like he slowed up around first.
Again, another one of those subtle little plays that don't show up in the box score that keeps the double play in order. See if it pays off again for the Netherlands.
Delgado with a fastball up. Defenses will shift for Carlos Delgado, which would make for an interesting double play combination with DeCaster, the third baseman, now at shortstop.
That's how they beat Team Dominican, and that's what's enabled them to hold on to this one-run lead tonight. Impeccable, the bullpen. 9 1/3 innings, not allowed a run.
Bergman hits Delgado. Beltran to second. Delgado's now at first, and up comes Rios. "19-year-old Juan Carlos Solberan has been loosening up. Cordoman's got up early, and I just wonder whether he called down today. I threw 36 pitches. He's 34 years old. There they try to get inside. Up and in, low and away. That's where you try to pitch all hitters. That went a little too far up and in, and it nicked Delgado. Bert Blyleven on the phone. Either get another pitcher up or find out if Solberan's ready. That hit by Beltran is the first one that Bergman has allowed. Delgado's okay. And you can see Beltran trying to get Alex Rios going. Rios has lined out and struck out. And he fouls the first pitch off. Every time the Dominican Republic on Saturday had an opportunity to score, either a Dutch pitcher made a great pitch or the Netherlands defense came up huge. Double plays, diving catches. That has continued here tonight against Puerto Rico. In the air, a lot of foul ground. Simon over, and he can't make the catch.
A lot of foul territory here, and Randall has to run a long way and can't quite pick up the ball. Hits him in the heel of the glove.
Beltran, heads up, was poised to go to third. Still 0-2.
One thing, in addition to the numbers, that's been impressive about the Netherlands bullpen, and managers love this. I mean, Bergman and Cordomans, we saw Newman the other day. They just come in and they're attacking the strike zone. They're not intimidated at all by the experienced big league hitters. Bergman with a nice quick delivery, quick arm action.
Another 0-2. To right, Kinsale with Beltran tagging, and he's going to get to third. And that'll bring up the most popular man in Puerto Rico right now, Ivan Rodriguez. With 2 outs, runners at the corners. It'll also bring Rod Delmonico out of the dugout.
Well, he got what he wanted out of Bergman, and there's not a lot of detailed scouting between these two teams, but obviously they think that the matchup right here with Pudge Rodriguez coming up would be the young hard-throwing Solberan.
Another youngster coming out of this Netherlands bullpen. 1-0. Netherlands trying to hold this lead in San Juan. starts in this ball game. Puerto Rico is down 1-0. Ivan Rodriguez comes to the plate, runners at the corners, and a 19-year-old comes out of the bullpen for the Netherlands.
And those stats are from high school. How cool is this? Won't turn 20 until September. Here he is facing an all-star, a future Hall of Famer with the game at stake. And obviously the reason Delmonico brought him in is the kid can throw hard. And Pudge at this stage of his career may have a little more trouble catching up with a good fastball.
Juan Carlos Zulbarán, who has signed with the Cincinnati Reds. Four for 4 in the first game, 1 for 2 tonight. That is a strike at the knees, and it's 0-1.
Country hardball. Here it is. A lot of late movement, too.
Beltran at third. Delgado at first. Breaking ball, strike 2.
Good, sharp, breaking curveball. Again, when you haven't seen a pitcher and he's got that electric stuff, big advantage for the guy on the mound.
2 down. 0-2. He got him! How about this? A 19-year-old kid out of the bullpen strikes out Ivan Rodriguez. And the Netherlands continues to lead 1-0. The biggest story of the World Baseball Classic is right here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It is this team from the Netherlands who stunned the Dominican Republic on Saturday, and they lead Puerto Rico 1-0 here in the 7th. Giancarlo Alvarado continues on the mound for Puerto Rico. Yorendo de Castro, the third baseman for the Netherlands, who has driven in the only run of this game. J.C. Romero, stylish lefty, the Philadelphia Phillies, getting ready. Jim Cott, we were here on Saturday when Puerto Rico blasted Panama, and this place was an absolute madhouse. You could hardly hear yourself think. And the Netherlands has essentially quieted down Iran Bithorn Stadium, which is not easy to do.
Well, good pitching and defense and a 1-0 lead will do that. He did check in time. I think the fans here are just waiting for their team to erupt. They get opportunities, and these young pitchers keep coming out of that Holland bullpen getting big outs.
And Alvarado walks to Castro.
And that's a perfect setup there for Delmonico. Late in the game, you just want to tack on another run. And so you certainly would expect to see them as Delmonico flashes the signs to his third base coach. Use the sacrifice bunt here.
Charnal Adriana. Adriana, one of the veterans that sprinkled through this lineup. It's an interesting lineup because you've got guys like Randall Simon at 33, Adriana, who's 38. But then you've got the 21-year-old behind the plate, Kenley Jansen. Charlin Scoop is 21. We saw Rick Vandenhert get the start. He's just 23. Players out of Aruba, Curacao, out of the Netherlands. pitch out. It's 1-1. And the Netherlands really set the tone before their game against the Dominican Republic. When somebody asked Rick Vandenhert, who was scheduled to start game 2, they asked him about his start on Sunday, assuming that they would be in the losers game. Vandenhert snapped right away and said, my start is on Monday. And the reporters kind of laughed it off.
And it is, and it was. See that pitch out there? I think Puerto Rico guessing that Delmonico would put the hit and run on instead of the bunt. You don't often pitch out at a sacrifice bunt because the runner's not going. Let's see what they play this time.
DeCaster's not running, and Adriana.
Well, he's a DH, and he's probably used to try to drive in runs because those are two very poor bunt attempts. And guys that are called on to drive in runs oftentimes are not good bunters. There again, the sequence of signs. A little dicey to put the hit and run on with a 1-2 count, but as Delmonico said, I got to pull all the tricks out I can here to try to manufacture a run.
Not running, and a fastball's high. Counts 2-2. Adriana has a couple of hits.
The count in baseball, you could write a book about the count. That dictates everything. See, just that pitch right there, now 2-2. The pitcher has to throw a strike or wants to throw a strike. It increases the chances of the hit and run.
It's high. Now it's 3-2, and with nobody out, does Delmonico gamble and send DeCaster?
I would think so. And you got to trust the fact that your hitter can make contact, and if you're not the kind of team that depends on the long ball, you got to try to advance the runners.
Let's see if he's moving. He bluffs. Drive to center. Beltran. And DeCaster retreats to first. World Baseball Classic tomorrow. The winner of the Italy-Canada game against Venezuela. The Dominican Republic awaits the loser of this one, and Cuba takes on Australia. How about Australia? Hitting 4 home runs and beating Mexico 17-7 in Mexico City. Italy on top of Canada right now, 4-2 in the 5th. Third pitcher to work for Puerto Rico. Ian Snell started. Pedro Feliciano went an inning and a third. And this is Giancarlo Alvarado's 4th hitter. Danny Rongley.
Well, we have seen some live arms in Pool D here last night with Felipe Alou bringing in some hard throwing lefties at the end of the game, and we're seeing the same thing from Puerto Rico today. Alvarado with a live fastball.
Misses in. Molina framed it.
Well, we haven't seen Rod Delmonico turn his runner loose yet. But again, you have a hit and run count. 1 out, 1-1. Like to stay out of the double play. Ideal running situation. And that's why you see a lot of tosses to first base and the bluff move, just to see if they can get any indication that the runner might be going. Then Oquendo can put the pitch outside on.
Another throw to first, and DeCaster is back. You made the point on Saturday that once the Dominican Republic fell behind, all the pressure in the world flipped over to their dugout. And the same seems to have held true tonight. Runner bluffs, and it's fouled into the seats.
Hey, the deeper you go in the game and you're a heavy favorite, you've got all these home run hitters, and you haven't scored yet. The tendency is to just grip that bat a little tighter, try a little harder. Everybody wants to hit the big home run to tie the game, and it all feeds into the pitcher's hands, particularly when you have pitchers who you're looking at for the first time and can throw strikes.
Count 1-2 to Rombley. DeCaster's at first. And Alvarado misses outside. Jose Oquendo. That one is fouled back. We talked to both managers before the ball game about how they would use their pitching staff in the game situation. Rod Delmonico told us, you know what, if we fall behind, we may want to save our bullpen for tomorrow, but if we're up, I may use guys I want to save till tomorrow. And when we asked Jose Oquendo, if you fall behind, what will you do? He got this surprised look on his face, like, fall behind.
I did too. And they're both in a situation here where they pretty much have to go with their best if they're trying to win this game, because, you know, Oquendo's team is down a run, but that's nothing with the lineup he's got.
A chance to advance and a chance to get to Miami. Hensley Mullins, the hitting coach. Rod Delmonico with a count 2-2 now and 1 out. Eram beat Thorne Stadium. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Molina's throw beats him by a bunch. And it's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. The Netherlands gambled, and Molina guns down DeCaster. Netherlands, though, still on top, 1-0. In San Juan, the Netherlands on top of Puerto Rico in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the 19-year-old Juan Carlos Celebron is still out there for the Netherlands. He gets Mike Aviles, Yadier Molina, and then Alex Cora. Last year he was pitching in high school.
Unbelievable. That's what's great about this World Baseball Classic, particularly with teams that don't have major leagues, countries that don't have major leagues.
Tried to right center. That's in the gap. Aviles has speed. On his way to second. Kinsale up with it. He'll stop at second with a lead-off double, and Puerto Rico is in business.
Well, you keep waiting for a team to break through against this Netherlands bullpen. Nobody's been able to do it. But Aviles gives Puerto Rico their best shot with a double to the wall to lead off the 7th.
Now the crowd comes to life. shows bunt, then pulls back, and time is called. It's been Rod Delmonico's team that has used small ball in the first 2 games of this classic. Let's see if Puerto Rico does that.
Randall, he's going to play way in at first base. Advantage for a left-hand first baseman off this turf to try to get the runner at third.
Molina squares. Hard bunt, and Simon picks it up. Aviles has to hold at second. One out.
Actually, in this situation, you see the third baseman back. The place to bunt the ball is to third base. That would force DeCastro to come in and leave the bag unoccupied. But with Simon charging, Molina bunts it right to him, and Molina's saying, go. No, there's no chance he could have advanced. He didn't even try. And Molina, in frustration, thought that maybe Aviles could have gotten to third base. He just bunted the ball in the wrong direction.
Alex Cora now. And a strike from Selberon. Cora's 0 for 2. Bullpen getting ready. They would love to get it to the 9th and love to get it to Leon Boyd, their closer. That's a strike at the knees, and it's 0-2.
Boy, you could put a 10-year veteran out there in situations like this, and I don't know if he can make better pitches than Juan Carlos Selberon. Good late movement and a nice job by Janssen to influence Larry Van Over by picking it up a little bit to make it look like it was above the knees.
The leadoff double by Aviles. He's still at second. Selberon. That one is low. Inside. Rod Delmonico keeping a close eye not only on his young starter, but just to see what Jose Oquendo might do. Feliciano is on deck. Two-two pitch. It's in. Selberon pitched at American Heritage High School in South Florida and did appear in the 2008 Olympics. Cora steps out. Three-two, hit him. Aviles will go back to second. Cora is now at first.
Yeah, that was a surprising call, a little low percentage pitch, and they went with a breaking ball. And as good a pitch as he made on Pudge to get out of the jam last inning, wasn't able to make one here. Good sharp curveball, but it catches Cora in the leg, and Delmonico will make a change right here.
Jesus Feliciano, the left fielder, is the scheduled hitter. And Delmonico on his way out to the mound. We'll see if he makes the change or if he just came out for a visit. It doesn't look like he's taking him out.
No, I think they want to talk about what they may do with runners at first and third, one out. Whether
look at Randall Simon.
They're loose. Whether they want to throw it through to second. Should the base runner try to steal?
This is the Puerto Rican box score. Carlos Beltran has a couple of hits. Carlos Delgado a hit. Bertie Williams started this game and went 0 for 2. Got thrown out at the plate. That is a big play in this game. Right fielder Eugene Kingsale threw Williams out at home plate to end the third inning. Strike one from the 19-year-old. One down, bottom 7. And there is the young catcher, Kenley Jansen, who literally saved the game for the Netherlands with a stop similar to that on Saturday.
And he stops. It's a save right there. That pitch easily could have gotten through, allowed both runners to get into scoring position.
Soon after that save on Saturday, he threw out Willie Taveras at third base for the second out of that 9th inning. Ground ball off the glove of Selberon. The bags are loaded. That might have been a double play ball.
Well, it's the first thing that's gone wrong for the Netherlands bullpen, and you're exactly right. If that ball isn't touched by Selberon, it is headed right toward the second baseman and probably would have been an inning-ending double play. But the deflection gives Puerto Rico the bases loaded with just one out.
It's an infield single. Middle infield is back for 2. Bases loaded. Ramon Vasquez, who is 0 for 2. Selberon out in front, 0-1.
Rod Delmonico will keep his infield at double play depth with the run lead. Not going to bring him in. Try to cut the tying run down at home. He's going to play for the conventional double play.
You've got a 21-year-old catcher out to talk to a 19-year-old pitcher in one of the biggest games in the history of the Netherlands. Saturday's win over the Dominican Republic was called one of the biggest upsets in international baseball history. This might be bigger if they were to pull this one off, because this is in San Juan against a mighty Puerto Rican team. Behind him to the screen it goes, and holding at third base is Aviles. That ball did not kick right back to Jansen.
Wow, what a break for the Netherlands. A bad read by Mike Aviles. He bluffs and waits to see if the ball bounces back. And it didn't really bounce back that far. Could have scored easily. Didn't want to take the chance. Oftentimes with the rubber padding behind home plate, it'll kick straight back, and that's what Aviles was looking for, but it never did.
2-1 to Vasquez. There's Akindo's club trying to get on the board. They've loaded the bases in the bottom of the 7th. Strike 2. Selbrun comes back and throws a fastball by him.
That's that anxiety, wanting to knock the run in. Chases a pitch up out of the strike zone.
It gets a lot tougher. Next hitter. The 2-2. Rod Delmonico, 18 years at Tennessee. He was sitting in Pat Murphy's office, the head coach at Arizona State, the longtime coach at Notre Dame. When Murphy got a call, someone was looking for a coach to work some clinics in the Netherlands. The 2-2.
Wow.
Just missed. Just missed.
Netherlands looking for strike 3. A little late movement. And Van Over evidently thought it was high.
That was a strike at American Heritage High School.
He's worked up a sweat just cheering.
Bases filled. 1 out.
Boy, this is some battle. Kid keeps throwing it near the plate. That was not a strike, but as a hitter, you don't want to put your fate in the hands of the umpire. You're going to go after anything that's close.
8 pitches in this at bat. Aviles, Cora, Feliciano. Vasquez. Another 3-2. That's the 9th pitch of the at bat. And it stays 3-2. Selbrun came on to strike out Ivan Rodriguez to finish the 6th. But he's run into trouble here in the 7th. The Puerto Ricans have loaded the bases. 3-2 to Vasquez. Popped him up on the infield. Scope makes the catch, running away, and there's 2 outs. And here comes Beltran.
Infield fly rule in effect. The hitter was already called out, but you get a little idea what the wind is doing here. And another big out by the Netherlands bullpen, none bigger than what they have to get right now. You see Randall Simon. Kid doesn't seem to be awed at all by this situation.
Well, we've seen 2 polished products of the Cincinnati Reds in this classic. Edinson Volquez and Johnny Cueto. This is a guy in his first year in the Reds organization who is facing Carlos Beltran with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. The Netherlands on top, 1-0. Beltran has hit the ball hard tonight. He's 2 for 3. Aviles opened the inning with the double. Cora was hit by a pitch. Feliciano hit what would have been a double play ball that was deflected by Selbrun. It went for an infield hit. Vasquez popped out. And now Beltran is sitting on a 1-0 pitch. That is a strike. It's 1-1.
Not only a live fastball, but good late movement.
The 1-1 pitch.
Big pitch there. I mentioned the count dictates everything. A strike there, you can throw a breaking ball. Now he's almost forced to throw a fastball. Doesn't want to go to 3-1. And that's exactly what Beltran's looking for. Not good numbers in this situation last year.
2-1. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-2.
Well, he got the fastball, but in a good spot right above the belt.
Beltran was trying to hit it out. 2 down. The 19-year-old kid stares in at one of the superstars of Major League Baseball, Carlos Beltran. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball. Simon's got it at first. The kid gets out of it. Incredible. 19 years old. Game on the line. No problem. Carlos Beltran rolls out to Randall Simon. And the Netherlands is still on top 1-0. Juan Carlos Celebron, who was in high school in South Florida last year, gets his team out of the bottom of the 7th. This is incredible stuff. The Netherlands on top 1-0 going into the 8th. Puerto Rico has left 9 runners on base. Yorendel de Castro drove in the only run of the game back in the 2nd inning. That was against Ian Snell, who started the game for Puerto Rico. Jose Oquendo is going to go to his bullpen again and bring out a very good lefty in J.C. Romero. Kenley Jansen stands in. Jansen has struck out twice. Romero, one of the heroes for the Phillies in their World Championship season.
81 games for the Phillies last year, just 59 innings. Tells you he's a lefty against lefty specialist, just a hitter here and a hitter there.
Jansen has not shined at the plate, but he's been very good behind it. This is Romero's first appearance of the Classic. Little roller out towards first. Delgado steps on the bag. And there's 1 out.
Well, things could not turn out better for Rod Delmonico as he flashes the sign to his third base coach, Wim Martinez, because now he has a chance to win the game. He's avoided Rob Cordemans, his veteran righty, who he didn't want to use tonight. Got this brilliant outs from, or brilliant effort getting big outs from the 19-year-old. And now he's got hard throwing Dennis Newman, and he's got Leon Boyd at the end of the game to try to close it out.
Here's Michael Dersma, who came in defensively.
But you keep thinking, how many of these jams can you continue to get out? As a starting pitcher, a manager used to say, well, if you get in 2 jams and you get out of them, that's fine. When the 3rd one comes up, I'm going to make a change. But the Netherlands bullpen just keeps getting big outs with men on. And I think you combine that with the pressure that Puerto Rico hitters are putting on themselves. They haven't been able to break through at each at bat. They try a little harder, squeeze the bat a little tighter.
Two things stand out a laboring Bernie Williams trying to score from second on that single to right. He was thrown out at the plate early in the ball game. And then Mike Aviles freezing at third on the wild pitch when he could have scored easily.
Well, again, it's one of the beauties of the game of baseball. Oftentimes the things that determine whether you win or lose don't show up in the box score. Pay attention to batting average, RBIs, but it's those little things that end up determining who wins or loses.
Romero drops in a strike. Romero was 2-0 in the World Series, and he picked up the win in that wild Game 5 finish. 8 games in the postseason, and he didn't give up a run. But he gives up a hit to Michael Dersma, who is aboard with a 1-out single. And here comes Eugene Kingsale. Now you got a little speed at first, and you got Kingsale who could put the ball in play at the plate.
Now they tried one hit and run. It was a strikeout throwout, but you keep thinking they've got to try to use the running game to add another run.
Kingsale squares and takes high. Eugene Kingsale before the ball game, very calm, very quiet. He's 32. Played with 4 different big league clubs. He said the best thing about this team is the ability of the veterans, Randall Simon, Sidney Ponson, Kingsale, to keep the kids loose. He said that's just been a real key. And Simon's kind of the jokester of that trio. They've kept the position players loose, and it's been the pitching coach, one of the greatest practical jokers in Major League Baseball history, who has kept the pitching staff loose, Bert Blyleven. A strike. The loser of this game plays tomorrow night against the Dominican Republic. Wouldn't that be ironic if it was Puerto Rico and the Dominican in an elimination game on Tuesday night?
Which everyone thought would be the final. A little more difficult here for Dersma to get much of a lead. The advantage of being a left-hand pitcher, looking at the runner and not knowing anything about his move.
A little bit better move. Kingsale is 0 for 3. Runner goes, and a pop-up. Dersma has to retreat back to first. The Gold Glover Molina makes the catch. Speaking of tomorrow, in the World Baseball Classic, the Italy-Canada winner takes on Venezuela. Here we'll have the Dominican Republic against the loser of this game, and in Mexico City, Cuba against Australia. Top of the 7th, 5-2 Italy over Canada. That would be an upset at the Rogers Center. Charlotte Scope, now the shortstop. He sends it in the air to right center field. Beltran over. Rios is there. Beltran takes it. And the Netherlands done in the 8th. To the bottom of the 8th. The Netherlands on top, 1-0. Puerto Rican fans still have life, but the Netherlands is on top in the bottom of the 8th, and they turn to their bullpen. A kid that handled the 8th inning against the Dominican Republic comes in the 8th inning here against Puerto Rico.
Dennis Newman, hard throwing righty.
Carlos Delgado, Alex Rios, Ivan Rodriguez, all-stars, all of them.
And this may be, because of the names you mentioned, more of a safe situation than the 9th. Oftentimes the guy coming in the 8th doesn't get the save, but he's got to face the tougher hitters.
Newman is a Boston Red Sox minor leaguer. He split his time last year between rookie level and single A. His ERA in single A was 7.20. Got a lefty, Alexander Smeet. Delgado's had a very good classic. He's 4 for 5, a homer, and a couple doubles.
Puerto Rico's had a lot of good hitting counts late in this game. Saw Beltran with one in his at-bat, got a 3-1 fastball, took too big a swing, and here Delgado in a perfect situation to kind of pick and choose, look for a certain pitch in a certain zone, and hope you get it.
Lost him.
Well, the odds keep going up that you're not going to get by with leadoff walks, but so far the Netherlands bullpen has been able to avoid it.
And a pinch runner at first base.
Andy Gonzalez.
Here's Rios. And Newman right now is all over the place. Dennis Newman is 19 years old.
Well, that's what's been so incredible about the numbers from the bullpen. You could see veteran pitchers that have had a lot of professional experience, but these are, you know, here we had a kid just out of high school coming in, getting big outs. Newman got 3 big outs in game 1 on Saturday.
If you're thinking about a stolen base, remember that Kenny Janssen has a great arm. He threw out Willie Taveras in a crucial play on Saturday.
Delmonico doesn't like what he sees and doesn't want the count to go to 3-0. He's going to make a pitching change in the middle of the count.
Too much at stake, obviously. Michael Van Kampen, a right-hander, is on his way in for the Netherlands bullpen. The crowd has hope. Puerto Rico down a run.
Well, what they've been able to do so well is throw strikes. And here's a case where Newman not able to find the strike zone, and rather than wait, he's going to bring in Miguel Van Kampen, who has the reputation of throwing strikes.
Michael Van Kampen, more of a veteran feel. 33-year-old with lots of international experience. Newman exits. And Van Kampen takes over. He's the 5th pitcher to work. Rick Vandenherk started. Then it was Bergman, then Celebron, Newman, and now Van Kampen.
And what Delmonico had told us, he said, I can bring a lot of guys in that give you different looks, and here is a different look. 30 innings, only 6 walks. It tells you he can throw strikes.
Opportunity here for Puerto Rico. They've had them in this ball game.
They really have. I mean, a lot of people like the 9 to 8 games, but it's kind of fun to see the games where little things make a big difference. Bernie gets thrown out. This pitch, Aviles makes a bad decision. Pop up with a man on third, less than 2 out, and then Beltran grounds out to end the inning. And you're right, reflecting back on Jose Oquendo's decision to start Bernie Williams, give him a few at-bats thinking that would pay off, but it was Bernie's inexperience in left field. Allow the ball to get by him. That's how the Netherlands scored their run, and then those 40-year-old legs of his just won't move like they did 10 years ago, and he got thrown out easily at home plate.
So Van Kampen, who pronounces his first name McGill, actually pitched in college in the United States at Treasure Valley Community College and small Albertson College in Idaho, an NAIA school. He helped take him to the NAIA College World Series. He was the only Dutch pitcher to go scoreless in the Olympics. Alex Rios with a 2-0 count. Here's the 3-0. And here comes Pudge.
Let's look at Pudge's last at bat. That was against young one Carlos Silveran, and you cannot make 3 better pitches. Sharp breaking ball and follows it up with another one, a 3-pitch strikeout to get out of that jam. Alexander Smith, the left-hander. Now, the so-called book in baseball would say 2 men on, nobody out, you sacrifice bunt. Pudge doesn't get called on a lot to bunt.
We saw Yadier Molina fail to bunt a runner-up earlier in the game.
And Aviles in the on-deck circle. Pudge a better run producer. You would think he'd let him swing the bat.
Van Kampen spins towards second. Pudge did square.
And see, that tells the Netherlands he showed bunt. So they'll put a little defensive play on. But did Pudge just do that? You got to make him think he's bunting. We'll see.
He squares. He tries to bunt. And it's 0-1. Jose Oquendo told us that to win in the Classic, your superstars have to play as a team. The MVPs, they have to bunt. The All-Stars, they have to move runners up.
Well, you can tell by that technique he's not bunted a lot. The play the Netherlands have on, Van Kampen's going to go to third base. Now they're going to put a different one on. The catcher calls those plays, and in games like this, they're very important, knowing what territory you're going for. Van Kampen will go to the third baseline. DeCaster's holding his ground, and Simon will charge, and they'll try to get the out at third base.
Pudge squares. 1-1. Rafael Monaco trying to get the infield's attention.
Yeah, usually at one pitch during this sequence, you'll try to pick the guy off second. He's going to try to get a good jump.
Van Kampen. Pudge can't get the bunt down. It's 1-2.
And baseball fans all over ask it constantly, why can't hitters bunt? And you see from that, that's not really good bunter's technique. And why? Because Pudge hadn't been called on to bunt a great deal in his career.
So now,
And
a
now
ball and 2 strikes with Gonzalez at second and Rios standing on first.
Now everybody retreats to their normal position.
One-two pitch. Line shot foul. And Campen dropped down a bit. You don't think there's pressure on that man, Jose Oquendo? He struck him out. Pudge goes down swinging. There's 1 out.
Failed to execute the bunt and actually gets a pretty hittable breaking ball up above the belt, and I think that's why you see that reaction from him. Then Campen got by with a high breaking pitch.
Rod Delmonico is on his way out to the mound. The hero on Saturday with 4 hits and 2 homers. Pudge tonight is 1 for 4, a single and 3 strikeouts. Here is Aviles. He doubled in the 7th, and that looked like the inning that Puerto Rico was going to finally get on the board. A leadoff double. They left the bases loaded. Runners first and second. 1 out. Gonzalez, there was pinch run for Delgado. Rios walked. Van Campen falls behind. Outfield shifting a bit towards right field. Outside corner.
Yeah, thing makes it difficult for the hitters looking at Van Campen. He does give you a couple different arm angles. Drop down side arm, missed with a couple pitches, and comes up on top.
The 2-1. Three and 1. Rick Vandenherk started this ball game. The Netherlands bullpen has been perfect so far. They're loaded.
If they get out of this with these base on balls, they gotta go buy some lottery tickets. I mean, you just can't keep getting out of jam after jam, particularly when you're creating them with base on balls. He's worn a path to that mound tonight, both to have some sessions with his pitcher and now to make a pitching change.
Yadier Molina is the hitter. And the call goes to the bullpen. Molina is 0 for 3. McGill, Van Campen will exit and will return with the Netherlands holding on 1-0. Back in San Juan, Netherlands holding on 1-0. Puerto Rico with the bases loaded and 1 out. Leon Boyd saved the game against the Dominican Republic. They need him to save this one and get 5 outs in the process.
Now Rod Delmonico says, I got the lead. I got to go to my closer here in the 8th inning and try to protect this. The The good news for them, if they get a ground ball, Molina's an excellent hitter, but he's not fast, so he's a double play candidate. And you see how well he's done, or well he did last year in these situations. A clutch hitter.
Boyd against Molina. Strike one, outside corner. The inning opened with Carlos Delgado walking. Gonzalez ran for him, and then Rios walked. Pudge struck out, then Aviles walked. Yadier Molina is one of the toughest men in Major League Baseball to strike out. Line shot, left field, base hit, down the line it goes. Gonzalez scores, Rios scores, and Puerto Rico finally breaks through.
Well, you just can't get by with 3 walks, and then a hanging breaking ball to a clutch hitter, and Puerto Rico finally breaks through against this Netherlands bullpen. But as good as they've been that they were against the Dominican right up till now, it's not the long ball that you would expect would beat them from Puerto Rico. It's the base on balls.
Alex Cora is 0 for 2. Infield's in. Fly ball, not too deep in right. Kingsale has already thrown 1 out at the plate. Aviles tags. A great throw from Kingsale. 2 outs. The Netherlands will have 3, 4, 5 due up in the 9th. Simon, Hallman, and DeCaster. Now Feliciano. Boyd misses outside. Feliciano came in for Bernie Williams. He had an infield single in the 7th. At the corner and at the knees.
Jose Aquindo as closer Fernando Cabrera warming up in the bullpen to come in to try to save it.
Aviles and Molina still out there. Line drive, base hit. Aviles is going to score. Here comes Molina. Rombley's throw coming home, and he is out at the plate. Rombley throws out Molina, but Puerto Rico adds another run. And the hometown crowd can finally let loose. To the 9th. 3-1. Puerto Rico. Leon Boyd and the Netherlands bullpen finally broke. In the bottom of the 8th, Jose Oquendo's Puerto Rican team puts 3 on the board, a 2-run lead. Oquendo has options down in the bullpen. He has a talented bullpen. Romero's going to stay out there because Randall Simon leads it off. A left-handed bat who's 1 for 2.
You would expect Romero to face Simon and then the right-hander to come in. Face Hallman.
The Netherlands got their run in the 2nd.
And the story of Puerto Rico taking over the lead is just the opposite of what has made the Netherlands good the first 16 innings of the Classic, and that's throwing strikes.
One hopper. Romero gets the out. And let's see what Oquendo does with Hallman coming out. He is out of the dugout pointing to the bullpen. And he's going to get the right-hander. Puerto Rico 2 outs away from advancing to the second round. 2 outs away from Miami. (3-1) ball game. And a fastball from Fernando Cabrera. There's a called strike. Greg Hallman is the hitter. He's 1 for 3 with a double. Puerto Rico needs 2 outs to get to Miami and the second round.
Cabrera with a power arm, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks, as you see by those numbers. 28 innings, 31 strikeouts, but a high walk total with the Orioles.
Now with Boston. And now he's up 1-2. Hallman scored the only run for the Netherlands after doubling in the second. One out to go.
Well, we expected this game tonight to be a battle of a team that tried to score runs with their speed against a team that would score with the long ball. But unfortunately for Rod Delmonico, his bullpen that has kept him in the game and helped him win the game on Saturday let him down today with 3 base on balls. Ended up resulting in 3 Puerto Rican runs.
To Castor, ground ball to short of Vilas. Puerto Rico wins. They will advance. They come back to beat the Netherlands. The Netherlands is not done yet. They will play the Dominican Republic tomorrow night. Some happy and very relieved Puerto Rican players on the brink of a disastrous loss to the Netherlands. In the 8th, big hit by that man, Yadier Molina, and Puerto Rico wins it.